Ghost Rider is a 2007 American superhero film written and directed by Mark Steven Johnson. Based on the Marvel Comics character of the same name, it was produced by Columbia Pictures in association with Marvel Entertainment, Crystal Sky Pictures, and Relativity Media, and distributed by Sony Pictures Releasing. The film stars Nicolas Cage as the titular character, with Eva Mendes, Wes Bentley, Sam Elliott, Donald Logue, Matt Long, and Peter Fonda in supporting roles. The film follows Johnny Blaze, a motorcycle stuntman who sells his soul and becomes the Ghost Rider, a bounty hunter of evil demons. Ghost Rider was released on February 16, 2007, in the United States. The film was met with negative reviews from critics and grossed $228.7 million worldwide against a $110 million budget. Ghost Rider was released on DVD, Blu-ray, and UMD on June 12, 2007. A sequel, titled Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance, was released on February 17, 2012, with Cage reprising his role. Plot. This article's plot summary may be too long or excessively detailed. Please help improve it by removing unnecessary details and making it more concise. September 2025, learn how and when to remove this message. The demon Mephistopheles sends his bounty hunter, the Ghost Rider, to retrieve the contract of San Venganza for control of 1,000 dark souls. Seeing that the agreement would give Mephistopheles the power to bring hell on earth, the Rider refuses and escapes with it. In 1986, Mephistopheles reaches out to 17-year-old Johnny Blaze, offering to cure his father's cancer in exchange for Johnny's soul. The next morning, Johnny awakens to discover the cancer cured, but his father dies later from burns sustained in a stunt accident. Johnny accuses Mephistopheles of causing his father's death, but Mephistopheles considers his side of the contract fulfilled and promises to see Johnny again as Mephistopheles takes Johnny's soul. Instead of running away with his girlfriend, Roxanne Simpson as planned, Johnny just rode off. In the present, Johnny has become a famous motorcycle stuntman. He survives a near-fatal crash after leaping over a field of semi-trucks. Later he runs into his ex-girlfriend, Roxanne, now a news reporter, just before he lands a motorcycle stunt where he clears a football field over Black Hawk helicopters while their blade rotors were spinning. He convinces her to attend a dinner date. Meanwhile, Mephistopheles' son Blackheart comes to Earth and seeks aid from the hidden, three fallen angels bonded with the elements of air, earth, and water, to find the lost contract of San Venganza. Mephistopheles makes Johnny the new Ghost Rider and offers to return his soul if he defeats Blackheart. Johnny transforms into the Ghost Rider, his flesh burning off his skeleton, and kills the Earth Angel Gressel. He then uses the penance stare, a power that causes mortals to feel all the pain they have caused others, on a street thug, searing his soul. The next day, he meets a man called the Caretaker, who knows about the Ghost Rider's history. He assures Johnny that what happened was real and will happen again, especially at night, when he is near an evil soul. Johnny leaves to find Roxanne, who is reporting the previous night's events on the news. At home, Johnny tries to control his fire power. Roxanne, upset about being stood up, comes to visit before leaving town, and Johnny reveals himself as the Devil's bounty hunter. Unconvinced, she walks away in disbelief. Johnny winds up in prison for murders Blackheart committed due to his license plate being discovered at a crime scene, in which Johnny kills several convicts and the air angel Abigor and escapes from the police. He returns to the Caretaker, who tells him of his predecessor Carter Slade, a Texas Ranger who hid the contract of San Venganza. At home, Johnny discovers that Blackheart has killed his friend Mac and taken Roxanne hostage, intending to kill her if Johnny does not deliver the contract. Johnny tries to use the penance stare on Blackheart, but it proves ineffective as Blackheart has no soul. Blackheart then orders Johnny to retrieve the contract and bring it to him in San Venganza. Johnny returns to the Caretaker, demanding the contract to save Roxanne. The Caretaker reveals that it is hidden inside a spade, telling Johnny that he is stronger than his predecessors because he sold his soul for love rather than greed, before giving it to him. The caretaker then transforms with Blaze, revealing that he is actually Carter Slade. Slade then leads Johnny to San Venganza and gives him a lever-action shotgun before bidding him farewell and having finally shaken off the curse, fading into dust as he rides away. After killing the water angel Wallow, Johnny gives Blackheart the contract. He transforms into the Ghost Rider to subdue Blackheart, but is rendered powerless at sunrise. Using the contract to absorb the 1,000 souls, Blackheart, now calling himself Legion, attempts to finish Johnny off, but is distracted when Roxanne uses Johnny's shotgun to separate them. Johnny shoots Blackheart with the gun, holding it in the shadows to allow him to enhance it with his power. Keeping his own body in shadow, he transforms again and uses his penance stare to render Blackheart catatonic by burning all the corrupt souls within him. Mephistopheles appears and declares the contract is complete, offering to take back the curse of the Ghost Rider. Determined not to let anyone else make another deal, Johnny declines, declaring that he will use his power against the demon and against all harm that comes to the innocent. Infuriated, Mephistopheles vows to make Johnny pay and disappears with Blackheart's body. Roxanne tells Johnny that he has his second chance and kisses him. Johnny rides away on his motorcycle, preparing for his new life as the Ghost Rider. Cast: Nicolas Cage as Johnny Blaze / Ghost Rider. A motorcycle stuntman, who is tricked into making a deal with the demon lord Mephisto thinking that it will save his father from dying, and is subsequently bound to an ancient demon, transformed into a supernatural, fiery, skeletal, monstrous soul hunter, the Ghost Rider. As his work for Mephisto continues, he hunts down the demons which have escaped from Hell, aka Hate or Hades. Matt Long as young Johnny Blaze. Eva Mendes as Roxanne Simpson, Johnny's childhood love interest, and current girlfriend who is a news reporter. Raquel Alessi as young Roxanne Simpson. Wes Bentley as Blackheart / Legion, a demon who is the son of Mephisto, and wants to use the contract of San Venganza in order to unleash hell on Earth. Sam Elliott as Carter Slade, a former Texas Ranger from the 19th century and the first Ghost Rider, or Phantom Rider, and an ally and mentor to Blaze. Donald Logue as Mac, a member of Johnny's team and his own impresario. Peter Fonda as Mephistopheles Mephisto, the demon lord with whom Blaze makes a contractual deal in order to save the latter's father from cancer. Deceivingly, Mephisto causes Blaze's father to die the next day in a motorcycling accident. Mephisto is in search for his illegitimate son, Blackheart, who seeks to overthrow him. The two race in search of the contract of San Venganza, a binding note of 1,000 evil souls. Additional cast members include Brett Cullen as Barton Blaze, Johnny Blaze's deceased father, and former motorcycle stuntman, David Roberts as Captain Jack Dolan, police captain, Lawrence Brules as Gressel, a fallen angel with earth-based powers, and one of Blackheart's minions, Daniel Fredrickson as Wallow, a fallen angel with water-based powers, and one of Blackheart's minions, Matthew Wilkinson as Abigor, a fallen angel with wind-based powers, and one of Blackheart's minions, Rebel Wilson as a goth girl in the alley whom Johnny saved from a mugger, Jessica Napier as a broken-spoke waitress, Ling Shui Tang as a news reporter, Eddie Baru as motorcycle gang member, and Marty Fields as a surveillance guard. Production. Development. Victorian Railway's L-Class locomotive used in a key scene filmed at Newport Railway Workshops. Marvel began development for Ghost Rider as early as 1992 and were in discussions with potential producers to sell the rights to. In 1997, Gail Ann Hurd was listed as producer, with Jonathan Hensley attached to write the script. 10 David S. Goyer developed a script, and in May 2000, Marvel announced an agreement with Crystal Sky Entertainment to film Ghost Rider with actor Jon Voight attached as a producer. 11 production was scheduled to start in early 2001 with a budget of $75 million and Johnny Depp expressing interest in the lead role. 12 The following August, Dimension Films joined Crystal Sky to co-finance the film, which would be directed by Stephen Norrington. 13 producer Avi Arad approached Eric Bana on the possibility of playing Ghost Rider, but opted to cast him in Hulk instead. 14 In June 2001, actor and Ghost Rider fan Nicolas Cage entered talks to be cast into the lead role. 15 After having found out about Depp being a possibility for the role and contacted the director to express his own interest. 16 Norrington would drop out within a few months due his commitment to TikTok. 17 And Cage eventually left the project as well. By May 2002, Columbia Pictures sought to acquire rights to Ghost Rider in turnaround from Dimension Films following their success with Spider-Man. 18 They brought Shane Salerno to rewrite Goyler's script. 19. Pre-production. In April 2003, under Columbia Pictures, director Mark Steven Johnson took over the helm for Ghost Rider with Cage returning for the lead role. Johnson, rewriting Salerno's script, was set to begin production of Ghost Rider in late 2003 or early 2004, but it was delayed to October. Cage took a temporary leave of absence to film The Weatherman. Ghost Rider production was slated to tentatively begin in May or June 2004. 21 Despite the previous listed actors, Johnson claimed that Cage was the only actor they considered for the role of Johnny Blaze. 22 Cage said that the film should be rated R. 23. Ghost Rider had again been delayed to begin in late 2004, but the lack of a workable script continued to delay production. 24 Johnson revealed that the original draft featured the character Scarecrow as the main villain, but the studio convinced him to change it to Blackheart so that audiences did not confuse him for the DC character of the same name. 22 Actor Wes Bentley was cast as Blackheart, having been introduced to Johnson by Colin Farrell, who had worked with the director in Daredevil. 25 Actress Eva Mendes was also cast opposite Cage as Roxanne Simpson. 26. Filming. Ghost Rider commenced filming in Australia at the Melbourne Docklands Film Studios on February 14, 2005. 27 In March, actor Peter Fonda, who starred in Easy Rider, was cast as the villain Mephistopheles. 28 Johnson originally planned to film before an audience at the Docklands Stadium, but instead opted to create a crowd using computer-generated imagery. 29 The director also chose to film in the motorcycle district of Melbourne. 30 By June 2005, principal photography had been completed for Ghost Rider 31, which was set for a mid-2006 release. 32. In April 2006, the cast and crew performed last-minute reshoots in Vancouver. 33. Character portrayal. Nicolas Cage portrays the role of Johnny Blaze / Ghost Rider in the film. Instead of a hard-drinking and smoking badass Johnny Blaze, Nicolas Cage decided to give him more depth. I'm playing him more as someone who made this deal and he's trying to avoid confronting it, anything he can do to keep it away from him. Cage also explained that Blaze's stunt riding was a form of escape and a way to keep him connected to his deceased father, who taught him to ride. Cage rode a Buell motorcycle for Blaze's stunt cycle, and a heavily customized hardtail chopper named Grace, which transforms into the Hell Cycle. 34 The Hell Cycle's wheels, made of pure flames in the comics, were changed to be solid tires covered in flames in order to give the motorcycle more weight on screen. 35. The film's visual effects supervisor, Kevin Mack, and the visual effects team at Sony Pictures Imageworks handled the difficult task of creating computer-generated fire on a shot-by-shot basis. 36 Ghost Rider's skull flames were designed to become smaller and blue to display any emotion other than rage. 35 Kevin's team at Imageworks also created computer-generated motorcycles, chains, water, black goo, dementors and buildings. To pull off such effects as the living morph where the hardtail chopper, Grace, comes alive to become the Hell Cycle, Sony enlisted teams of animators, models, effects artists, lighters and flame artists. The department supervisors for these teams at Imageworks included Kevin Hudson, Brian Steiner, J.D. Cowles, Marco Merghi, Joe Spadaro, Joni Karnowski, Vincent Saratella and Patrick Whitting. Patrick's team bore the brunt of the work as they created the fire using a custom pipeline that automated the setup, starting with Maya animated geometry driving Maya fluids, imported into Houdini and then rendered and composite on top of the live-action plates. Patrick and his team set up the fire process, and much of the front-end automation was set up by Scott Pauleko and Joe Spadaro. The fire was then tweaked and manipulated to look and move believably by Patrick's 11-man Houdini effects team. All of this was enabled by effects producers Daniel Kuhn and the digital effects supervisor Ki-Suk Ken Han. The digital version of the Hell Cycle was modeled in detail by Kevin Hudson, and based on the practical prop used in the film, it included animatable skeletal hands that came alive to wrap the gas tank during the supernatural transformation scene. The transformation scene was animated by Max Thierry and finalized by Joe Spadaro. Each part of the Grace geometry had to match up and morph with a piece of geometry on the Hell Cycle. Ghost Rider's voice was manipulated by sound designer Dane Davis, who won an Academy Award for sound editing for The Matrix. Davis filtered Cage's line readings through 3 different kinds of animal growls that were played backwards and covered separate frequencies. Davis then amplified the dialogue through a mechanical volumizer. Director Johnson described the sound as a deep, demonic, mechanical lion's roar. 37. Music. Ghost Rider, original motion picture soundtrack. Film score by Christopher Young. Released February 13, 2007. Recorded 2006. Genre film score, orchestral. Length 56:33. Label Varese Sarabande. Christopher Young chronology. The Grudge 2. 2006, Ghost Rider, original motion picture soundtrack. 2007, Spider-Man 3. 2007, Christopher Young composed Ghost Rider score. In addition, Spider-Bait, a band that Johnson befriended during filming in Australia 36, performed a cover of Ghost Riders in the Sky for the end credits. 38. Track listing. All tracks are written by Christopher Young. No. Title length. 1 Ghost Rider 316. 2 Black Heartbeat 306. 3 Artistry in Death 413. 4 A Thing for Karen Carpenter 201. 5 Cemetery Dance 531. 6 More Sinister Than Popcorn 540. 7 No Way to Wisdom 215. 8 Chain Chariot 618. 9 Santa Sardonicus 336. 10 Penance Stare 526. 11 San Venganza 322. 12 Blood Signature 208. 13 Serenade to a Daredevil's Devil 153. 14 Nebuchadnezzar Phase 552. 15 The West Was Built on Legends 359. Total length, 56:33. Marketing. Ghost Rider's Hell Cycle, in its supernatural transformed shape, displayed as a part of the film's promotion. In May 2005, Sony Pictures launched the official website for Ghost Rider. 39 The following July, the studio presented a Ghost Rider panel at San Diego Comic-Con and screened a teaser for the audience. 35 The teaser, which did not have finalized footage of the film, eventually leaked online. 40 In the same month, Majesco Entertainment Company announced its deal with Marvel to acquire worldwide rights to produce the video game Ghost Rider for the PS2, PSP, and Game Boy Advance consoles. 41 In December, the studio presented a first glimpse of Ghost Rider in a 10-second footage piece on the official site. 42 In April 2006, Sideshow Collectibles announced the sale of a Ghost Rider maquette based on the concept art of the film. 43 The following May, domestic and international teaser trailers for Ghost Rider were launched at Apple Inc. 44 The Ghost Rider was also featured in a commercial for Jackson Hewitt Tax Services in which the character presented his income tax forms to a clerk for processing to receive a quick refund check. Release. Theatrical. Ghost Rider was originally scheduled to release on August 4, 2006 45, but the date was moved 3 weeks earlier to July 14. 46 Sony changed the film's release date once more to February 16, 2007, to help relieve the studio's crowded 2006 calendar. 47. Home Media. Sony Pictures Home Entertainment released the film on June 12, 2007 as a single-disc theatrical cut DVD, 2-disc extended cut DVD, Blu-ray disc, and UMD. 48 special features on the extended cut DVD include 2 commentary tracks, a comic book history feature, and a making of the film featurette. 49. Reception. Box office. Ghost Rider was commercially released in the United States on February 16, 2007. The film grossed $15,420,123 on its opening day 50 while earning $45,388,836 for its opening weekend. The film earned $52,022,908 over the 4-day President's Day weekend, with a per-theater average of $14,374 in 3,619 theaters. 51. This made it the highest President's Day opening weekend at the time, surpassing the 3-day record held by Daredevil and the 4-day record held by 50 First Dates simultaneously. 52. The film would go on to hold these records until 2010 when Valentine's Day took them. 53. It went on to achieve the highest opening weekend for a Nicolas Cage film, replacing National Treasure. 54. Additionally, it reached the #1 spot at the box office in its first weekend, beating out Norbit, Bridge to Terabithia, Music and Lyrics, Daddy's Little Girls and Breach. 55. For its second weekend, the film collected $20 million, outgrossing the number 23 and Reno 9/11, Miami to stay in first place. 56. The film's total earnings were $228,738,393 worldwide, of which $115,802,596 was from North America. 7. Critical response. On the review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes, 28% of 137 critics' reviews are positive, with an average rating of 4.2/10. The website's consensus reads, "Ghost Rider is a sour mix of morose, glum histrionics amidst jokey puns and hammy dialogue." 57. Metacritic, which uses a weighted average, assigned the film a score of 35 out of 100, based on 20 critics, indicating generally unfavorable reviews. 58 audiences polled by CinemaScore gave it a grade B. 59. Michael Ordina of the Los Angeles Times and Jeanette Katsoulis of the New York Times expressed disappointment in the film. Ordina said, "For a comic book with a rebel spirit, the adaptation feels obediently conventional," and Katsoulis said Johnny Blaze is more funny than frightening. 60-61 In a mixed review, Scott Foundas of LA Weekly explained that instead of a buoyant, imaginative superhero movie on the order of Sam Raimi's Spider-Man films or Bryan Singer's Superman Returns, we get a lumbering, paint-by-numbers origin story. 62 Robert Kohler of Variety stated that Ghost Rider would have been most fun had it been made for a dime by a Roger Corman-type outfit as a quickie gothic adventure spinning Zane Grey, Faust, and Evel Knievel. 63. Eric Alt of the Chicago Tribune praised the computer-generated effects of the film, though he criticized the film overall as a clumsy, lifeless outing. 64. Accolades. The film was nominated for 1 Razzie Award for Nicolas Cage as Golden Raspberry Award for Worst Actor. 65. The film was also nominated for Best Horror Film at the Saturn Awards. 66. Sequel. Main article, Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance. A sequel, entitled Spirit of Vengeance, was released on February 17, 2012. Cage reprised his role as Johnny Blaze and also portrayed Johnny Blaze in his Ghost Rider form. Crank filmmakers Mark Naveldine and Brian Taylor directed the film. The film received worse reviews than its predecessor, but was still a financial success. When asked about a potential third film, Cage said that it could happen, but without his involvement. 67 In 2013 the rights reverted to Marvel Studios 68, effectively cancelling plans for a third film. The Robbie Reyes version of the Ghost Rider later appeared in the TV series Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., set in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. In popular culture, Craig Ferguson, former host of The Late Late Show, has mentioned that his robot skeleton sidekick Jeff Peterson was inspired by Cage's portrayal of Ghost Rider in this film and its sequel. 69. Notes: the company is credited as Marvel Studios, despite not being a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The rights to Ghost Rider would eventually revert to the actual Marvel Studios in 2013. Nicolas Kim Coppola, born January 7, 1964, 12 known as Nicolas Cage, is an American actor and film producer. He is the recipient of various accolades, including an Academy Award, a Screen Actors Guild Award, and a Golden Globe Award, as well as nominations for 2 BAFTA Awards. Known for his versatility as an actor, Cage's work across diverse film genres has gained him a significant cult following. 345. Born into the Coppola family, Cage began his career in films such as Fast Times at Ridgemont High, 1982, and Valley Girl, 1983, as well as various films by his uncle Francis Ford Coppola such as Rumblefish, 1983, The Cotton Club, 1984, and Peggy Sue Got Married, 1986. He received critical success for his roles in Moonstruck and Raising Arizona, both 1987, before earning an Academy Award for Best Actor for the dramatic film Leaving Las Vegas, 1995. He was Oscar nominated for playing twins Charlie and Donald Kaufman in the comedy-drama film adaptation, 2002. Cage established himself in mainstream action films, such as The Rock, 1996, Con Air, 1997, Face/Off, 1997, Gone in 60 Seconds, 2000, The National Treasure film series, 2004 to 2007, The Ghost Rider film series, 2007 to 2011, and Kick-Ass, 2010. He also took on dramatic roles in City of Angels, 1998, Bringing Out the Dead, 1999, The Family Man, 2000, Matchstick Men, 2003, and The Wicker Man, 2006. He has voiced characters in The Ant Bully, 2006, Astro Boy, 2009, The Croods film series, 2013 to 2020, Teen Titans Go! To the Movies and Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse, both 2018. He earned renewed critical recognition for his starring roles in Mandy, 2018, Pig, 2021, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, 2022, Dream Scenario, 2023, and Longlegs, 2024. 678. Cage owns the production company Saturn Films and has produced films such as Shadow of the Vampire, 2000, and The Life of David Gale, 2003, and has directed Sunny, 2002. For his contributions to the film industry, he was inducted into the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 1998. He was ranked number 40 in Empire magazine's The Top 100 Movie Stars of All Time list in 2007 and was placed number 37 in Premier's 100 Most Powerful People in Hollywood in 2008. Nicolas Cage was also voted one of the 50 greatest actors of all time in a 2022 readers' poll by Empire magazine. 9. Early life and family. Cage was born in Long Beach, California, to August Coppola, a professor of literature, and Joy Vogelsang, a dancer and choreographer. He was raised in a Catholic family. His father was of Italian descent and his mother was of mainly German and Polish descent with some English and Scottish ancestry on her father's side. 10, 11, 12 His paternal grandparents were composer Carmine Coppola and actress Italia Pennino, and his paternal great-grandparents were immigrants from Bernalda, Basilicata. 13 Through his father, he is a nephew of both director Francis Ford Coppola and actress Talia Shire, and a cousin of directors Roman Coppola and Sofia Coppola, film producer Giancarlo Coppola, and actors Robert and Jason Schwartzman. 14-15. Cage is the youngest of 3 sons. His 2 brothers are New York radio personality Mark the Cope Coppola and director Christopher Coppola. He attended Beverly Hills High School 16, which is known for its many alumni who became entertainers. He aspired to act from an early age and also attended UCLA School of Theater, Film, and Television. His first non-cinematic acting experience was in a school production of Golden Boy. 17 He said he started acting because he wanted to be James Dean. I saw him in Rebel Without a Cause, East of Eden. Nothing affected me, no rock song, no classical music the way Dean affected me in Eden. It blew my mind. I was like, that's what I want to do. 18. At age 15, he tried to convince his uncle, Francis Ford Coppola, to give him a screen test, telling him I'll show you acting. His outburst was met with silence in the car. 19. By this stage of his career, Coppola had already directed Marlon Brando, Al Pacino, Gene Hackman, and Robert De Niro. Although early in his career Cage appeared in some of his uncle's films, he changed his name to Nicolas Cage to avoid the appearance of nepotism as Coppola's nephew. His choice of name was inspired by the Marvel Comics superhero Luke Cage and composer John Cage. 2021. Career. 1981 to 1988, early work and breakthrough. Cage made his acting debut in the 1981 television pilot The Best of Times, which was never picked up by ABC. 22 His film debut followed in 1982, with a minor role as an unnamed co-worker of Judge Reinhold's character in the coming-of-age film Fast Times at Ridgemont High, having originally auditioned for Reinhold's part. 23 His experience on the film was marred by cast members endlessly quoting his uncle's films, which inspired him to change his name. 23 Cage's first starring role came opposite Deborah Foreman in the romantic comedy Valley Girl, 1983, in which he played a punk who falls in love with the titular Valley Girl, a plot loosely inspired by Romeo and Juliet. 24 The film was a modest box office success and has been branded a cult classic. 25 He auditioned for the role of Dallas Winston in his uncle's film The Outsiders, based on S.E. Hinton's novel, but lost to Matt Dillon. 26 Cage, however, would co-star in Coppola's adaptation of another Hinton novel, Rumblefish, in that year. 27. In 1984, Cage appeared in 3 period films, none of which fared well at the box office. In the drama, Racing with the Moon, 1984, Cage featured opposite Sean Penn as friends who are awaiting deployment to the United States Marine Corps. 28 In Coppola's crime drama The Cotton Club he portrayed a fictionalized version of mob hitman Vincent Mad Dog Call, earning praise from critic Paul Attanasio for artfully using his few moments to sketch a brawny, violent thug. 29. His final release of the year was Alan Parker's drama Birdie, in which he starred with Matthew Modine. Cage lost weight for the role and had 2 of his front teeth pulled out to appear disfigured. 30 Despite massively underperforming at the box office, the film, and Cage and Modine's performances, received positive reviews, with the New York Times critic Janet Maslin writing, Mr. Cage very sympathetically captures Al's urgency and frustration. Together, these actors work miracles with what might have been unplayable. 31. In 1986, Cage starred in the little-seen Canadian sports drama The Boy in Blue and his uncle's fantasy comedy Peggy Sue Got Married, 1986, as the husband to Kathleen Turner's character. 532 He then starred in the Coen Brothers crime comedy Raising Arizona, 1987, as a dimwit ex-con. 33 Cage's biggest breakthrough came in 1987 with the romantic comedy Moonstruck, in which he starred alongside Cher as a hot-tempered baker. 21 The film was a hit with critics and audiences alike, earning Cage a Golden Globe nomination for Best Actor, Motion Picture Musical or Comedy. 34 In his retrospective review, Roger Ebert wrote that he felt Cage's performance was worthy of an Oscar. 35. 1989 to 1994, Career Slump. In 1989, Cage starred in the black comedy Vampire's Kiss as a man who falls in love with a vampire and soon begins to believe himself as a vampire. The film was a major box office flop but has developed a cult following largely due to Cage's surrealistic and over-the-top performance appearing in internet memes. Critic Vincent Canby felt the film was dominated and destroyed by Mr. Cage's chaotic, self-indulgent performance. 36. After filming the Italian drama Time to Kill, 1989, in Zimbabwe, he starred in David Lynch's romantic crime film Wild at Heart, 1990, with Laura Dern. Cage was drawn to the project because he was always attracted to those passionate, almost unbridled romantic characters, and it allowed him to impersonate one of his heroes, Elvis Presley, in scenes in which he sang. 2137 Wild at Heart received mixed reviews upon release, despite controversially winning the Palme d'Or at the 1990 Cannes Film Festival. 38 Cage would reunite with Lynch and Dern for the avant-garde concert performance Industrial Symphony No. 1. 39. Also in 1990, he starred as a helicopter pilot in the action film Firebirds, which was panned by critics and negatively compared to Top Gun, 1986. 40 Cage's next film, the erotic thriller Zandali, 1991, was released direct-to-video in the United States, where it did not receive a theatrical release. 41 His goofy everyman performance in the romantic comedy Honeymoon in Vegas, 1992, garnered some positive critical notices. 42 including from Roger Ebert, who defended Cage amidst some critics finding his acting excessive and earned Cage his second Golden Globe nomination. 43-34 He hosted an episode of the variety show Saturday Night Live to promote the film, his only time hosting the show. 44. None of Cage's three films in 1993 Deadfall, directed by his brother Christopher, Amos and Andrew and Red Rock West performed well at the box office. 45 The comedy Guarding Tess, 1994, paired Cage with Shirley MacLaine as a Secret Service agent protecting a former First Lady, however, it was dismissed as being derivative by some critics. 46 He next starred alongside Bridget Fonda in the romantic comedy It Could Happen to You as a cash-strapped police officer who offers to share his lottery winnings with a waitress, and then the much-criticized box office flop Christmas comedy Trapped in Paradise with the Saturday Night Live actors John Lovitz and Dana Carvey. 47-48 According to Lovitz, Cage directed portions of the film because its director, George Gallo, offered little direction. 49. 1995 to 2003, critical success and action star. Cage's performance as a psychopathic criminal kingpin in the crime film Kiss of Death, 1995, was seen by many critics as the film's strong point. 50 But his most acclaimed performance yet came in the drama Leaving Las Vegas as an alcoholic screenwriter who falls in love with a prostitute in Las Vegas. 51 The role won Cage the Academy Award for Best Actor and Golden Globe Award for Best Actor, Motion Picture Drama. To prepare for the part, Cage binge drank for 2 weeks and studied footage of himself. 52. In 1996, he starred alongside Sean Connery and Ed Harris in Michael Bay's The Rock, the first of a string of action films for Cage. In the film, he played an FBI chemical weapons specialist breaking into Alcatraz federal prison. The Rock was a box office and critical success, with journalist Alexander Larman stating the film launched Cage into an unexpected vocation as an offbeat action star. 53. Next, he starred in Con Air and Face/Off, two commercially successful action thrillers that were both released in June 1997. Along with John Cusack and John Malkovich, Cage led an ensemble cast. Jerry Bruckheimer, Con Air's producer, offered the role to Cage after being impressed with his performances in Leaving Las Vegas and The Rock. Cage accepted despite disappointment at not being offered the villain role. 54 Ebert felt Cage made the wrong choice, by playing Cameron Poe as a slow-wit Elvis type who is very earnest and approaches every task with tunnel vision. It would have been more fun if he'd been less of a hayseed. 55. John Woo's face/off saw Cage and John Travolta star in dual roles as sworn enemies, a terrorist and an FBI agent who both undergo face transplants to impersonate each other, requiring Cage and Travolta to switch characters. Both performances were praised by critics, with the BBC writing in their review, Travolta and Cage invest their dual roles with physical subtleties that reflect the other actor's character. 56. After starring in these action films back-to-back, Cage decided to return to more serious fare in the romantic fantasy film City of Angels, 1998, a loose remake of the German film Wings of Desire, 1987. Critics were split on the film and Cage's performance, with reviews ranging from describing him as endlessly resourceful and resembling a serial killer more than an angel. 57-58. Brian De Palma's thriller Snake Eyes, his second film of 1998, starred Cage as a corrupt detective. 59. The film was met with mixed reviews, which were largely critical of its screenplay. 60. Other films included Martin Scorsese's 1999 New York City paramedic drama Bringing Out the Dead 21 and Ridley Scott's 2003 black comedy crime film Matchstick Men, in which he played a con artist with obsessive-compulsive disorder. 61. Most of Cage's movies that have achieved financial success were in the action/adventure genre. These include The Rock 62, Con Air 63, Face/Off 63 and Gone in 60 Seconds, with Cage as a retired car thief. 64. He took the lead role in the 2001 film Captain Corelli's Mandolin and learned to play the mandolin from scratch for the part. 65-66. In 2002, he was again nominated for Oscar and Golden Globe Best Actor awards for his portrayal of real-life screenwriter Charlie Kaufman and Kaufman's fictional twin Donald in Adaptation. 67. Cage made his directorial debut in 2002 with Sunny, a low-budget drama starring James Franco as a male prostitute whose mother, Brenda Bleethin, serves as his pimp. Cage had a small role in the film, which received poor reviews and a short run in a limited number of theaters. 21-68. Cage's producing career includes Shadow of the Vampire, the first effort from Saturn Films. 69. 2004 to 2011, franchise films. Cage at the 2009 Venice International Film Festival. In his second highest grossing film to date, National Treasure, he plays an eccentric historian who goes on a dangerous adventure to find treasure hidden by the founding fathers of the United States. 70. In 2005, two films he headlined, Lord of War and The Weatherman. 71. Failed to find a significant audience despite nationwide releases and good reviews for his performances. 72. The 2006 remake of The Wicker Man was very poorly reviewed, and failed to make back its $40 million budget. 73-74. In early December 2006, Cage announced at the Bahamas International Film Festival that he planned to curtail his future acting endeavors to pursue other interests. On the Dresden Files for the Sci-Fi Channel, Cage is listed as the executive producer. 75. The much criticized Ghost Rider, 2007, based on the Marvel Comics character, fared better, earning more than $45 million, the top earner, during its opening weekend and over $208 million worldwide through the weekend ending on March 25, 2007. 76. Also in 2007, he had a small but notable role as the Chinese criminal mastermind Dr. Fu Manchu in Rob Zombie's fake trailer Werewolf Women of the SS from the B-movie double feature Grindhouse 77 and starred in Next, which shared the concept of a glimpse into an alternate timeline with Cage's film 78 The Family Man, 2000. 79. In November 2007, Cage was spotted backstage at a Ring of Honor wrestling show in New York City researching for the lead role for the wrestler. However, Cage dropped out of production shortly afterward because he felt that he did not have enough time to prepare for the role and director Darren Aronofsky preferred Mickey Rourke for the lead role. Rourke would go on to receive an Academy Award nomination for his performance. 81 In an interview with Film, Aronofsky said of Cage's decision to leave the film that Nick was a complete gentleman, and he understood that my heart was with Mickey and he stepped aside. I have so much respect for Nick Cage as an actor, and I think it really could have worked with Nick, but, you know, Nick was incredibly supportive of Mickey and he is old friends with Mickey and really wanted to help with this opportunity, so he pulled himself out of the race. 82. In 2008, Cage appeared as Joe, a contract killer who undergoes a change of heart while on a work outing in Bangkok, in the film Bangkok Dangerous. The film is shot by the Pang brothers and has a distinctly Southeast Asian flavor. 83 In 2009, Cage starred in the science fiction thriller Knowing, directed by Alex Proyas. In the film, he plays an MIT professor who examines the contents of a time capsule unearthed at his son's elementary school. Startling predictions found inside the capsule that have already come true lead him to believe that the world is going to end at the close of the week and that he and his son are somehow involved in the destruction. 84 The film received mixed reviews but was the box office winner on its opening weekend. 85. Also in 2009, Cage starred in the film Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call New Orleans, directed by acclaimed German director Werner Herzog. 86 He portrayed a corrupt police officer with gambling, drug, and alcohol addictions. The film was very well received by critics, holding a rating of 87% positive reviews on review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes. 87 Cage was lauded for his performance, with Michael Phillips of the Chicago Tribune writing Herzog has found his ideal interpreter, a performer whose truth lies deep in the artifice of performance, ladies and gentlemen, Nicolas Cage, at his finest. 88. This film reunited Cage with Eva Mendes, who played his love interest in Ghost Rider. 89 In 2010, Cage starred in The Sorcerer's Apprentice, in which he played the sorcerer, and the next year, headlined the period piece Season of the Witch, as a 14th century knight transporting a woman accused of causing the Black Plague to a monastery. 90 In 2011, Cage reprised his role in Ghost Rider's sequel Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance. 91. 2012 to 2017, Career Setbacks. Cage at the 2011 San Diego Comic-Con. In 2013, Cage was involved in many projects. Notable films including animated film The Croods, in which he voiced a character named Grug Crude. The Croods received positive reviews from critics and was a box office success, grossing $585 million against a budget of $135 million. 92 He starred as main character in The Frozen Ground, a thriller crime drama film directed and written by Scott Walker in his directorial debut, based on the crimes of real-life Alaskan serial killer Robert Hansen. 93 The film, reunited him with Cusack, depicts an Alaskan state trooper, played by Cage, seeking to apprehend Hansen, played by Cusack, by partnering with a young woman who escaped from Hansen's clutches. The film has received mixed reviews, though Cage's performance was cited as a highlight and solid. 94-95 He also starred in Joe, an independent crime drama film directed and co-produced by David Gordon Green, adaptation from Larry Brown's 1991 novel of the same name. In this film Nicolas Cage is a tormented man who hires a 15-year-old boy, played by Ty Sheridan, and protects him from his abusive father. The film premiered at the 70th Venice International Film Festival on August 30, 2013 96-97 with a subsequent screening at the 2013 Toronto International Film Festival. 98 It was a box office flop, grossing only $2.36 million from a $4 million budget, but received critical acclaim from critics, who praised Cage's performance and Green's direction. The 2016 black comedy Dog Eat Dog, Cage's second film with Paul Schrader, reunited him with Willem Dafoe, after Wild at Heart, as a pair of ex-convicts hired to kidnap a baby. 99 The film had its premiere as the closing entry for the Director's Fortnight section at the 2016 Cannes Film Festival on May 20, 2016. 100. It was released on November 4, 2016, in the United States. 101. Peter Bradshaw of The Guardian gave the film 4 out of 5 stars, writing, "It's the right director for the right project and the result is Schrader's best for years, a leery, nasty, tasty crime thriller built on black comic chaos." 102. Todd McCarthy of The Hollywood Reporter wrote, "A rare film to have been shot in Cleveland. Dog Eat Dog definitely looks like it was shot on the cheap but puts what it needs to up on the screen with vigor and wit." 103. Cage starred alongside Selma Blair and Ann Winters in Brian Taylor's horror comedy film, Mom and Dad. 104, which premiered in the Midnight Madness section at the 2017 Toronto International Film Festival. It was released in theaters on January 19, 2018. 105. 106 and received positive reviews from critics, with review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes defining his performance as over the top. 107. Director John Waters appreciated the film, naming Mom and Dad as one of the best movies of 2018, placing it fourth on his personal top list. 108. 2018, present, critical resurgence. Cage at the 2018 Sitges Film Festival. In 2018, Cage starred in the action thriller film Mandy. 109, which premiered on January 19 at the 2018 Sundance Film Festival. 110. Nick Allen of RoachRevert.com praised the movie, writing that for all of the endless feral performances that Cage has given, in movies good, bad, and forgettable, Cosmato's style-driven, 80s tastic passion for weird worlds and characters takes full advantage of Cage's greatness, and then some. 111. In October, Mandy's producer Elijah Wood announced his intention to size up an Oscar campaign for Nicolas Cage and for composer Johan Johansson, who died in February of that year. 112. But the film was disqualified because it was also released on video on demand on September 14. 113. 114. 115. 116. Later that year, Cage voiced Clark Kent/Superman in the animated film Teen Titans Go! To the Movies. He had originally been slated to portray Superman in Tim Burton's cancelled Superman film, Superman Lives, in the 1990s. 117. He voiced an alternate monochromatic 1930s universe version of Peter Parker/Spider-Man noir in Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse, 2018. Cage based his vocal performance on films of Humphrey Bogart, James Cagney, and Edward G. Robinson. 118. On January 28, 2019, Victor and Irina Yelchin premiered a documentary about their son Anton Yelchin, Love, and Tasha, at the 2019 Sundance Film Festival. 119. The documentary was directed by Garrett Price and contains various interviews with some of Anton's friends and collaborators such as Kristen Stewart, J.J. Abrams, Chris Pine, Jennifer Lawrence, Jodie Foster, John Cho, and Martin Landau. Cage starred as the narrator of the film, reading various writings by Yelchin. 120. In December 2018, it was announced that Cage had signed to play the lead role for Richard Stanley's Color Out of Space, based on the short story The Color Out of Space by H.P. Lovecraft. 121. This was Stanley's first feature film directed since his firing from the island of Dr. Moreau, 1996. 122. Color Out of Space premiered on September 7, 2019. In the Midnight Madness portion of the 2019 Toronto International Film Festival, where Cage was awarded for his role with the Creative Coalition's Spotlight Initiative Award. 123. 124. Following select preview screenings on January 22, the film was released in 81 theaters in the United States on January 24, 2020. 125. In December 2018, it was announced that Zion Sono was working on his first overseas production and English-language debut, Prisoners of the Ghostland, starring Nicolas Cage. Cage said the film might be the wildest movie I've ever made. 126. Its plot revolves around a notorious criminal, Hero, played by Cage, who is sent to rescue the governor's adopted granddaughter, who has disappeared into a dark region called Ghostland. 127. The film had its world premiere at the 2021 Sundance Film Festival on January 31, 2021. 128. In May 2020, it was announced that Cage would be playing the role of Joe Exotic in a scripted 8-episode Tiger King series, written and executive produced by Dan Lagana. 129. It was announced that the project was scrapped in July 2021. 130. In 2013, it was confirmed that Nicolas Cage would reprise his role as Grug in The Croods: A New Age, which was released in 2020. 131. Cage produced and starred in the 2021 film Pig, where he plays Robin Rob Feld, a former chef-turned-reclusive truffle forager who must return to his past in Portland in search of his beloved foraging pig after she is kidnapped. Cage received critical acclaim for his performance and earned a second nomination for the Critics' Choice Movie Award for Best Actor. 132. He gained further acclaim for portraying a fictionalized version of himself in the 2022 action comedy film The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, as well as for his portrayal of Paul, a professor who begins appearing in the dreams of others, in the 2023 Dream Scenario, resulting in his 5th Golden Globe nomination. 133. 134. In the 2023 horror comedy film Renfield, inspired by the 1897 Bram Stoker novel Dracula, Cage portrays Dracula opposite Nicholas Holt's Renfield. 135. Also in 2023, Cage was included as a playable character in the horror video game Dead by Daylight. 136. 137. Cage reprised his role as Clark Kent/Superman in the 2023 film The Flash in a cameo appearance as an alternate version of the superhero. 138. Cage shot his scenes through volume trick capture and CGI was used to de-age him. 139. In early 2023, it was announced Cage was set to play a live-action version of Peter Parker/Spider-Man Noir on Amazon Prime Video. The show would take place in an alternate 1930s New York City. 140. 141. In July 2024, the show was confirmed to be titled Spider Noir. 142. Filming began in September 2024 in Los Angeles. 143. Also in July, Cage starred as the titular serial killer in the horror thriller film Longlegs, which he produced. 144. In August, Cage signed on to play legendary gridiron football coach and broadcaster John Madden in the Amazon MGM Studios film Madden. 145. Acting style and reception. Nouveau Shamanic. Cage on the set of National Treasure 2. The fine, ever-elusive art of Nouveau Shamanic. Will Ashton, Cinema Blend. 146. Nouveau Shamanic is a style of acting Cage developed. He has said it is to increase one's imagination without restraint, in avoidance of experiencing the sense of being ingenuous. 147. 148. The process itself is about, how do you augment your imagination in a healthy way, so that you can believe you're these characters. You don't feel like you're acting, you feel like you're being. Nicolas Cage. In the film Vampires Kiss, Cage moved from method acting to Nouveau Shamanic. The scene where Cage recites the alphabet to his psychiatrist was a result of acting out of impulse. 148. Raising Arizona showcased the physicality of Nouveau Shamanic. 148. Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance is a display of how the method leads to impulse decisions fueled by an energy one could only garner naturally. 149. Cage was asked if any of his numerous pets influence his acting, to which he replied, the cobras, definitely. They would try to hypnotize you by going side to side, and when I did Ghost Rider, Spirit of Vengeance, that's something my character does before he attacks. Animals are fun places to get inspiration. 148. Reception. In Cage's hands, cartoonish moments are imbued with real emotion and real emotions become cartoons. Everything, from individual scenes down to single lines of dialogue, feel like they have been embraced as opportunities for creation. Cage is usually interesting even when his films are not. He is erratic and unpredictable, he is captivating and he is capricious. He is a performer. He is a troubadour. He is a jazz musician. Luke Buckmaster, The Guardian 150. According to The Guardian film critic Luke Buckmaster, any casual observer can see that Cage is entertaining, charismatic, and wildly flamboyant. Attributing it partly to the well-cultured background of Cage's family, Buckmaster said the actor is clearly attracted to grotesque characters and is celebrated for his wild and unhinged approach to them. He has the presence of a leading man, and the eccentricities of a character actor. Actor Ethan Hawke stated in 2013 that Cage is the only actor since Marlon Brando that's actually done anything new with the art, crediting him for taking film audiences away from an obsession with naturalism into a kind of presentation style of acting that I imagine was popular with the old troubadours. 151. Film director David Lynch described him as the jazz musician of American acting. 150. Many critics have accused Cage of overacting. 150 others, including Cage himself, have described his intentionally extreme performances as mega-acting. 152. After the actor's series of mainstream-marketed thriller films during the late 1990s, Sean Penn told the New York Times in 1999 that Cage was no longer an actor but more like a performer. 153. Despite this, in his speech after winning the Oscar for his performance in Mystic River, Penn described Cage's performance in Matchstick Men as one of the best of 2003. 154. During the 2010s, a growing number of critics described Cage as one of the most underrated actors of his generation. 155, 156, 157. Acting credits and accolades. Main articles, Nicolas Cage filmography and list of awards and nominations received by Nicolas Cage. Cage's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. For his contributions to the film industry, Cage was inducted into the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 1998 with a motion pictures star located at 7021 Hollywood Boulevard. 158, 159. In May 2001, Cage was awarded an honorary doctorate in fine arts by California State University, Fullerton. He spoke at the commencement ceremony. 160. Cage has also been nominated for an Academy Award twice. He won an Academy Award for Best Actor for his role in the film Leaving Las Vegas in 1995. He was nominated for a second one for his role in the film adaptation in 2002. 161. He also won a Golden Globe Award, Screen Actors Guild Award, and many more awards for Leaving Las Vegas. He has received nominations by the Golden Globe, Screen Actors Guild, and BAFTA for his film's adaptation, Honeymoon in Vegas, and Moonstruck. 162. He has also won and been nominated for many other awards. Personal life. Relationships and family. Cage has been married 5 times and has 3 children, one each with Christina Fulton, Alice Kim, and Rico Shibata. In 1988, Cage began dating actress Christina Fulton, with whom he has a son, Weston Coppola Cage, born in 1990. Weston has been the vocalist of 2 symphonic black metal bands, Eyes of Noctrum and Arch Anubis. Notably his father Nicholas attended a Los Angeles performance of the former at the Whiskey A Go Go in 2007. 163. Better source needed. Weston also appeared in his father's film Lord of War as a helicopter mechanic, and in the 2014 film Rage as Nicholas' character's younger self. Through Weston, Cage has 2 grandsons born in 2014 and 2016. 164. In July 2024, Weston was arrested for assaulting numerous people with a deadly weapon, including his mother. He was released on a $150,000 bond. 165-166. Cage's first wife was actress Patricia Arquette, whom he married in April 1995 and divorced in 2001. 167. His second marriage was to singer-songwriter Lisa Marie Presley, daughter of Elvis and Priscilla Presley. Cage, an Elvis fan, used Elvis as the inspiration for his performance in Wild at Heart. They married in Kamuela, Hawaii, on August 10, 2002, and filed for divorce 107 days later on November 25, 2002. The divorce was finalized on May 24, 2004. 168. Cage's third wife was Alice Kim. They were married at a private ranch in Northern California on July 30, 2004. 169. She gave birth to their son Kall in 2005. 170. They divorced in January 2016. 171. In March 2019, Cage married Erica Koich in Las Vegas, only to file for annulment 4 days later. 172. Stating he was too intoxicated to understand his own actions and that Koich failed to disclose the full nature and extent of her relationship with another person. 173. 174. He was granted a divorce from Koich 3 months later. 175. On February 16, 2021, Cage married Rico Shibata. 176. Their daughter August was born in 2022. 177. Political views and religious beliefs. Cage grew up in a family of Catholic background, but does not talk about religion publicly and refuses to answer religion-connected questions in his interviews. 11. When asked about whether he could relate to his character's lack of religious belief in knowing, Cage replied, "You know, any of my personal beliefs or opinions run the risk of impinging on your own relationship with the movie. I think movies are best left enigmatic. Left raising more questions than answers. I don't want to ever preach, so that's what you get from a movie. That's far more interesting than anything I could offer." 178. During his visit to University of California, Santa Cruz, he stated that he is not a politically active actor and that he can do it in his work as he learned more about nuclear power from the movie The China Syndrome. 179. Cage endorsed Andrew Yang for president during the 2020 election. 180. At one point in his life, Cage had decided that he wanted to develop the philosophical aspect of his nature, and he went on a quest to find the Holy Grail. Cage traveled to England to look for it, but also looked at some areas of the United States. 148. 181. Charitable activities. Cage has been called one of the most generous stars in Hollywood. 182. He donated $2 million to Amnesty International for them to use to offer rehabilitation shelters, medical services, and psychological and reintegration services to some of the 300,000 children forced to fight in conflicts across the world. 183. He has also donated $1 million to the victims of Hurricane Katrina. 184. He became the first artist to support Artworks, an artist engagement program to raise awareness of fundamental rights at work, including freedom from slavery and from child labor. 185. During 2023, while filming The Surfer in Western Australia, Cage personally phoned in an $5,000 donation to the Channel 7 Perth Telethon. 186. Cage has also been honored with a humanitarian award from the United Nations for his works and appointed as a UN Ambassador for Global Justice in 2009 and again in 2013. 187. He led a campaign around the film Lord of War to raise awareness about international arms control, supported Heal the Bay, the United Negro College Fund efforts, and the Royal United Hospital's Forever Friends appeal to build intensive care units for babies. 189. Interests. Cage, an avid comic book fan, auctioned a collection of 400 vintage comics through Heritage Auctions for over $1.6 million in 2002. 190 in 2007, he created a comic book with his son Weston, called Voodoo Child, which was published by Virgin Comics. 191 Cage is a fan and collector of painter and underground comic artist Robert Williams. He has written introductions for Juxtapose magazine and purchased the painting Death on the Boards. 192. Saturn Films. Saturn Films is a production company referred to by one source as the production shingle of Nicolas Cage and often referred to as Cage's Saturn Films. 193 Michael Nyland has been referred to as Cage's producing partner through Saturn Films. 194 Norm Golightly was president of the firm for 12 years, ending in 2009. 193 In 2001, Saturn was referred to as Intermedia based, 195 suggesting it was part of Intermedia, which was defunct as of 2006. Real estate and tax problems. Schloss Nadestein in Bavaria was owned by Cage between 2007 and 2009. Cage was once considered one of Hollywood's highest paid actors, earning $40 million in 2009 according to Forbes, although he failed to make Forbes' top 10 list in 2014. 196 197 In 2004 he bought a property on Paradise Island, Bahamas. In May 2006, he bought a 40-acre, 16-ha, island in the Exuma archipelago, some 85 miles, 137 kilometers, southeast of Nassau and close to a similar island owned by Faith Hill and Tim McGraw. 198 He bought the medieval castle Schloss Nadestein in the Oberpfalz region in Germany in 2006 and sold it in 2009 for $2.5 million. His grandmother was German, living in Kocheminder Mosel. 199. In August 2007, Cage purchased Grey Craig, a 24,000 square foot, 2,200 square meters, brick and stone country manor in Middletown, Rhode Island. With an estate occupying 26 acres, 11 ha, the home has 12 bedrooms and 10 full bathrooms and overlooks the Atlantic Ocean. It borders the Norman Bird Sanctuary to the west. The sale ranked among the state of Rhode Island's most expensive residential purchases. 201 Also in 2007, Cage purchased Midford Castle in Somerset, England. 203 Shortly after selling his German castle, Cage also put his homes in Rhode Island, Louisiana, Nevada, and California, as well as a $7 million island in the Bahamas, on the market. 204. On July 14, 2009, the Internal Revenue Service filed documents in New Orleans in connection with a federal tax lien against property owned by Cage in Louisiana, concerning unpaid federal taxes. The IRS alleged that Cage failed to pay over $6.2 million in federal income tax for the year 2007. 205 In addition, the Internal Revenue Service had another lien for more than $350,000 in unpaid taxes dating from 2002 to 2004. 206 Cage filed a $20 million lawsuit on October 16, 2009, against his business manager, Samuel J. Levin, alleging negligence and fraud. 207 The lawsuit stated that Levin had failed to pay taxes when they were due and had placed Cage in speculative and risky real estate investments, resulting in the actor suffering catastrophic losses. 207 Cage also faced separate lawsuits from East West Bank 208 and Red Curb Investments for unpaid, multi-million-dollar loans. 3-story rectangular building. The Lala Uri Mansion in New Orleans was purchased anonymously by Cage in 2007 and sold in 2009. Samuel Levin filed a counter-complaint and responded to the lawsuit in a filing stating that he warned Cage that he was living beyond his means and urged him to spend less. Levin's filing states that instead of listening to Levin, cross-defendant Cage, Coppola, spent most of his free time shopping for high-ticket purchases, and wound up with 15 personal residences. Levin's complaint continued. Likewise, Levin advised Coppola against buying a Gulfstream jet, against buying and owning a flotilla of yachts, against buying and owning a squadron of Rolls-Royces, against buying millions of dollars in jewelry and art. 209. In his filing, Levin said that in 2007, Cage's shopping spree entailed the purchase of 3 additional residences at a total cost of more than $33 million, the purchase of 22 automobiles, including 9 Rolls-Royces, 12 purchases of expensive jewelry, and 47 purchases of artwork and exotic items. 209. One of those items was a dinosaur skull of a Tarbosaurus. After discovering that it was stolen, he returned it to the Mongolian authorities. 210. According to Cage, he owned the most haunted house in America, a home located in the French Quarter of New Orleans, Louisiana. 211. Known as the Lala Uri House after its former owner Delphine Lala Uri, the house was foreclosed and sold at auction on November 12, 2009, along with another New Orleans property for a total of $5.5 million, in the wake of Cage's financial problems. 212. His Bel Air home, which had 6 loans totaling $18 million on it, failed to sell at an April 2010 foreclosure auction despite an opening offer of $10.4 million, substantially less than the $35 million that Cage had originally tried to sell it for. The home, built in 1940 for $110,000, equivalent to about $1.9 million in 2023, had been owned at different times by Dean Martin and singer Tom Jones. 196. The home eventually sold in November 2010 for $10.5 million. 213. Another home in Nevada also faced foreclosure auction. 212. In November 2011, Cage sold his Action Comics #1 in an online auction managed by Heritage Auctions for a record-breaking $2.16 million, the previous record being $1.5 million, to assist paying his tax liens and other debts. Cage purchased the comic in 1997 for $110,000. 214. The comic had been stolen from him in 2000, and Cage had received an insurance payment on the item. In March 2011, it was found in a storage locker in the San Fernando Valley and was verified by ComicConnect.com to be the copy sold to Cage previously. 215. Worth around $25 million by May 2017, Cage was reportedly taking film roles left and right in order to pay off his remaining debts. 216. By 2022, Cage confirmed that he had finally paid off his debts and intended to be more selective with his film roles. 217. Legal issues. Kathleen Turner wrote in her 2008 memoir, Send Your Roses, that Cage had stolen a Chihuahua and was arrested twice for driving drunk while they filmed Peggy Sue Got Married. 218. Later she admitted Cage did not steal a Chihuahua and she was sorry. 219. 220. Cage won a libel action against Turner, her publisher Headline Publishing Group, and associated newspapers, whose publication The Daily Mail had repeated the allegations when they published an excerpt from the book. 221. Christina Fulton sued Cage in December 2009 for $13 million and for the house in which she was living. The suit was in response to an order that she leave the dwelling. The order resulted from Cage's financial difficulties. 222. The case was settled in June 2011. 223. Cage was arrested in New Orleans French Quarter District on April 15, 2011, for suspicion of domestic abuse battery, disturbing the peace and public intoxication. A police officer was flagged down by onlookers after Cage allegedly grabbed his wife's upper arm while appearing to be under the influence of alcohol. 224. Cage was held in police custody until a bail of $11,000 was posted by Dwayne "Dog" Chapman. 225. He was later ordered to appear in court on May 31, 2011. 226. The New Orleans District Attorney announced that the charges against Cage had been dropped on May 5, 2011. Matthew Long III, born May 18, 1984, is an American actor. He is best known for playing Ezekiel Landon in the NBC/Netflix sci-fi drama Manifest, 2019 to 2023, and his roles in the television series Jack and Bobby, 2004 to 2005, and the films Ghost Rider, 2007, and Sydney White, 2007. Life and career. Long was born in Winchester, Kentucky, to an insurance salesman father and an assistant teacher mother. 5. He has one younger sibling, Zach. He attended Western Kentucky University. 6. Where he met his wife, Laura. He was also a member of Sigma Alpha Epsilon fraternity. After graduation, Long moved to New York City, where he worked as an actor in various theaters. In 2004, he was cast as a lead on the critically acclaimed but short-lived the WB drama series Jack and Bobby, and later starred in several TV pilots and appeared in movies, including Ghost Rider and Sydney White. Long played the lead role in the short-lived ABC drama series The Deep End in 2010. 6. He also had the recurring role of Joey Baird in the AMC drama series Mad Men, and in 2012 was cast in the ABC pilot Gilded Lilies, created and produced by Shonda Rhimes. 7. Rhimes later cast him in her medical drama Private Practice in a recurring role as Dr. James Peterson. 8. In 2013, Long was cast as a lead in another ABC drama series, Lucky 7. 9. 10. 11. In 2019, Long appeared as the recurring character Zeke Landon during the first season of the NBC drama Manifest, and was promoted to the main cast for season 2. Eva de la Carrie Mendes, Spanish, Eva de la Carrie Mendes, born March 5, 1974, one known professionally as Eva Mendes, is an American retired actress. Her acting career began in the late 1990s with a series of roles in films such as Children of the Corn v. Fields of Terror, 1998, and Urban Legends, Final Cut, 2000. Mendes' performance in Training Day, 2001, marked a turning point in her career and led to parts in the commercially successful films Too Fast, Too Furious, 2003, and Hitch, 2005. She starred in Ghost Rider, 2007, and The Spirit, 2008, both film adaptations of comics, and ventured into more dramatic territory with We Own the Night, 2007, Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call New Orleans, 2009, Last Night, 2010, and The Place Beyond the Pines, 2012. Her other films include Out of Time, 2003, The Women, 2008, The Other Guys, 2010, and Girl in Progress, 2012. Mendes has appeared in several music videos for artists such as Will Smith and has also been an ambassador for brands including Calvin Klein, Cartier, Reebok, Pantene Shampoo, Morgan, and Peek & Kloppenburg. She has designed for New York & Company and was the creative director of Circa Beauty, a makeup line sold at Walgreens. Early life. Mendes was born on March 5, 1974, in Miami, to Cuban parents Eva Perez Suarez and Juan Carlos Mendes, and was raised by her mother in the Los Angeles neighborhood of Silver Lake 234 after her parents' divorce. 5. Her mother worked at Mann's Chinese Theater. 6. And later for an aerospace company, and her father ran a meat distribution business. 7. Mendes had an older brother Juan Carlos Mendes Jr. 1963 to 2016, who died from throat cancer, and a younger brother, Carlo, born 1978. 8. She attended Hoover High School in Glendale. 9. And later studied marketing at California State University, Northridge, but left college to pursue acting under Ivana Chubbuck. 10. Acting career. Beginnings and breakthrough, 1998 to 2001. Mendes started her acting career after a talent manager saw her photograph in a friend's portfolio. 11. Her first film role was as part of a group of young people who become lost in Middle America in the direct-to-video horror film Children of the Corn v. Fields of Terror. Mendes was disappointed in her performance and soon hired an acting coach. 12. She subsequently took on the roles of a bridesmaid in the comedy A Night at the Roxbury, 1998, with Will Ferrell and Chris Kattan, a housekeeper in the fantasy family film My Brother the Pig, 1999, with Scarlett Johansson, and an ill-fated film student in the slasher film Urban Legends, Final Cut, 2000. She was considered for a role in the film Panero, 2001, by director Leon Acaso but did not get the part. 13. Mendes appeared in the Steven Seagal action thriller Exit Wounds, 2001, which made over $73 million worldwide. 14. According to Mendes, her voice was dubbed in the editing after a producer told her she didn't sound intelligent enough. 15. Her breakthrough came later in 2001 with her performance as the mistress of a corrupt cop in Antoine Fuqua's crime thriller Training Day alongside Denzel Washington and Ethan Hawke. 16. She described her role as pivotal in her career, motivating her to keep going as an actress after she had become bored doing terrible, cheesy horrible films. 17. Training Day was a box office hit, grossing $104.5 million. 18. Worldwide exposure, 2002 to 2009. Mendes at the 66th Venice Film Festival. Her role in Training Day led to larger film parts and Mendes soon established herself as a Hollywood actress. While her sole film release in 2002 was the crime comedy All About the Benjamins, in which she played the girlfriend of a con artist, Mendes had roles in 4 studio feature films released throughout 2003. Too Fast Too Furious teamed her with Paul Walker and Tyrese Gibson while portraying a United States Customs Service agent working undercover for a notorious Argentine drug lord. The film gave Mendes much wider exposure, grossing over $236 million globally. 19. The Western action film Once Upon a Time in Mexico saw her star as the daughter of a Mexican drug lord, alongside Antonio Banderas and Salma Hayek. While reviews for the film were mixed, it made $98.1 million. 20. Mendes reunited with Denzel Washington for the thriller Out of Time, in which she played the soon-to-be ex-wife of a well-respected chief of police. The film was a moderate commercial success. 21. And Roger Ebert, in his review for the film, described Mendes' role as a curiously forgiving character, who feels little rancor for the straying husband and apparently still likes him. Maybe there would have been more suspense if she were furious with him. 22. Her last 2003 film was the comedy Stuck on You, with Matt Damon and Greg Kinnear, in which she played an aspiring actress. 11. She starred as the love interest of a professional dating consultant, Will Smith, in her next film, Hitch, 2005. USA Today described it as her best screen role to date. 23. And Detroit Free Press remarked, Smith and Mendes are terrific together. He brings her game up so high you'd think she has had as many good parts as Smith. 24. Hitch made $368.1 million in its global theatrical run. 25. In 2005, Mendes also starred in the Little Scene films The Wendell Baker Story and Guilty Hearts. In the romantic comedy Trust the Man, 2006, Mendes starred with David Duchovny, Billy Crudup, Julianne Moore, and Maggie Gyllenhaal, playing what the AV Club described as a vapid sex spot. 26. The much criticized Ghost Rider, 2007, based on the Marvel Comics character, featured Mendes as the love interest of the titular character, Nicolas Cage. The film fared well commercially, opening atop at the North American box office, with earnings of more than $45 million. It eventually made over $228 million worldwide. 27. She starred opposite Joaquin Phoenix and Mark Wahlberg in the thriller We Own the Night, also 2007, as the girlfriend of an NYPD captain's brother. Critic Peter Travers found the film to be defiantly, refreshingly unhip and noted that sizzle comes naturally from Mendes. 28 in 2007, she also starred in the films Live and Cleaner, both of which went unnoticed by audiences, and made an uncredited cameo appearance in the comedy Knocked Up. In 2008, Mendes took on the role of a perfume salesgirl in Saks Fifth Avenue in the all-female comedy The Women, opposite Meg Ryan, Annette Bening, Deborah Messing, and Jada Pinkett Smith. 29 Though a commercial success, The Women was panned by critics, with Mendes earning a nomination for the Golden Raspberry Award for Worst Actress for her performance. She also played the femme fatale sans serif in 2008's The Spirit, based on the newspaper comic strip of the same name by Will Eisner. It received lackluster reviews from critics, who deemed it melodramatic, unoriginal, and sexist. 30 Her only 2009 film release was the crime drama Bad Lieutenant, Port of Call New Orleans, which reunited her with Nicolas Cage 31 playing a prostitute, and again, his love interest. While the film found a limited audience in theaters, it garnered acclaim, appearing on many top 10 lists of the year. 32. Further roles and retirement, 2010 to 2014. Mendes at the 2012 TIFF premiere of The Place Beyond the Pines. Mendes reunited with previous collaborators Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg for the action comedy The Other Guys, 2010, in which she portrayed the wife of a mild-mannered forensic NYPD accountant, Ferrell. 33 It was a commercial success, grossing $170.4 million globally. 34 In 2010, she also played the co-worker and the love interest of a committed man in Masih Tajuddin's romantic drama Last Night, alongside Keira Knightley and Sam Worthington. 35 While she was initially reluctant to star, worrying that the character would lack originality and was too seductive, she agreed to play the role after meeting with Tajuddin. She said, "It was great to connect with a female director and talk about this woman and not objectify her as the other woman but give her a real true life and make her honest. Thank God I did." 36-37. In 2011, Mendes appeared in an uncredited cameo in Fast 5, reprising her role from Too Fast Too Furious. In 2012, she starred in the dramedy Girl in Progress, as a single mom raising her 14-year-old daughter, and in the art fantasy drama Holy Motors, as KM, a role originally written for Kate Moss. While Girl in Progress earned Mendes an Alma Award nomination for Favorite Movie Actress, she described Holy Motors as the coolest, most creative thing I've ever done. 38. In The Place Beyond the Pines, also 2012, a drama directed by Derek Cianfrance and alongside Ryan Gosling and Bradley Cooper. 39 Mendes portrayed the former lover of a motorcycle stuntman. The film was a moderate commercial success, and Entertainment Weekly, in its review, described her performance as quietly heartbreaking. 40 She also visited Sierra Leone and was featured in the PBS documentary Half the Sky, Turning Oppression into Opportunity for Women Worldwide, which aired in October 2012. 41. In 2013, Mendes appeared in the HBO comedy film Clear History as a formerly heavy-set woman. 42 And in 2014, she starred as a cabaret show performer in Ryan Gosling's directorial debut Lost River, which competed in the Uncertain Regard section at the Cannes Film Festival. 43, 44, 45 Thereafter, she retired from the film industry. Speaking of her retirement in 2022, Mendes said, "I got tired fighting for the good roles. There just was a point where I thought, I'm going to create my own opportunities and become a producer on things and create my own material, but it just didn't feel worth it to me. There are more opportunities for Latina actresses now, in 2022, but when I bowed out 10 years ago I wasn't being offered things that weren't specifically Latina. It is exciting that things are different now, so who knows what I will do in the future. But right now, I'm keeping it in the home with my kids." 46. Other endeavors. Modeling. Mendes appeared in the Pet Shop Boys music video for Se Vida E, That's the Way Life Is, in 1996, Aerosmith's music video for Hole in My Soul in 1997, and Will Smith's music video for Miami in 1998. She also appeared in the music video for The Strokes' The End Has No End in 2004. In 2005, Mendes was employed by Revlon as an international spokesperson, and participated in their campaign to raise funds for breast cancer research. 47 In December 2007, People for the Ethical Treatment of Animals, PETA, used a nude photo of Mendes for their anti-fur campaign. 48-49 Mendes was a spokesmodel for the 2008 Campari calendar. 50 She also appeared nude in a 2008 print advertisement for Calvin Klein's Secret Obsession perfume, an ad that United States network executives found too risque for broadcasting. 51. Mendes has been a spokesperson for Calvin Klein 52 Magnum 53 and the chocolate milk brand Cosio. 54 She also promoted Thierry Mugler's Angel Fragrance 55 Reebok 56 shoes, and Pantene shampoo. 57 In 2011, Mendes appeared in a Peek and Kloppenburg clothing catalog. 58. Fashion designing. Mendes had a line of bed linens and dinnerware that was sold at Macy's. 59-60 In February 2013, she partnered with New York & Co to launch her own fashion line, Eva by Eva Mendes. 61 She was also the creative director of the makeup brand Circa Beauty, which launched exclusively at Walgreens in 2015. 62-63-64. Singing. In 2010, Mendes sang Pimps Don't Cry, a song featured in The Other Guys 65, and also performed a duet with CeeLo Green with the same song. 66 In 2011, she recorded a version of The Windmills of Your Mind. 67 She also featured in the single Miami sung by Will Smith, which was released in 1998. Public image. Mendes in 2011. Many media outlets have cited her as one of the world's most beautiful Latin women, and she has been often considered a sex symbol. She once embraced that status, saying it was partially self-created. I think at times I play up my sexiness. And there's times where I don't. 68 Though she does not let it interfere with her film work, I like it when it doesn't limit my career. It's a part of my life, but on a secondary plane. 69 Nevertheless, her professional trajectory throughout the 2000s tended to gravitate towards parts that relied heavily on her looks. 38 She has not appeared in a film since 2014. Mendes ranked 54th, 12th, 7th, 7th, and 11th in Maxim magazine's Hot 100 issue in 2002, 2005, 2007, 2008, and 2010 respectively. 70, 71 and appeared several times on the cover. 72 She also ranked 80th, 23rd and 44th in FHM magazine's 100 Sexiest Women in the World supplement in 2004, 2005, 2006. Citation needed. She was voted number 4 in the 2008 edition, and number 1 in the 2009 edition, of AskMen.com's Top 99 Most Desirable Women. 73 people also named her one of 2011's Most Beautiful at Every Age. 74. Personal life. Mendes began dating music producer George Augusto in 2002. 75 They broke up in 2011. 76. In 2008, she entered the Cirque Lodge Rehabilitation Center in Utah to address a dependency problem related to drugs including alcohol. 77-78. In September 2011, she began dating Ryan Gosling, shortly after they filmed The Place Beyond the Pines together. 79 They have 2 daughters, born in 2014 and 2016. 80, 81, 82, 83 When asked in a 2022 interview if she and Gosling had married, Mendes said that I like to keep it all mysterious. 84. Mendes is a pescatarian for ethical and health reasons. 85 She also practices transcendental meditation. Samuel Pack Elliott, born August 9, 1944, is an American actor. With a career spanning over 5 decades of film and television, he is recognized for his deep sonorous voice. Elliott has received various accolades, including a Screen Actors Guild Award and a National Board of Review Award, in addition to nominations for an Academy Award, 2 Primetime Emmy Awards and 2 Golden Globe Awards. Elliott began his career with minor roles on screen, making his film debut in the western The Way West, 1967. After his first leading film role in the horror Frogs, 1972, Elliott gained wider attention with his breakthrough role in the drama Lifeguard, 1976. He achieved commercial success with his role in the biopic Mask, 1985, and received Golden Globe nominations for starring in Louis L'Amour's adaptation of Conigur, 1991, and the miniseries Buffalo Girls, 1995, the latter of which also earned him his first Primetime Emmy Award nomination. Throughout the 1990s, he portrayed John Buford in the historical drama Gettysburg, 1993, Virgil Earp in the western Tombstone, 1993, SGT. Bucky O'Neill in the epic war miniseries Rough Riders, 1997, and the stranger in the crime comedy The Big Lebowski, 1998. In ensuing decades, Elliott established himself as a character actor, with supporting roles in a number of films, such as the drama We Were Soldiers, 2002, and superhero films Hulk, 2003, and Ghost Rider, 2007. In the 2010s, he had guest starring roles in the FX neo-western series Justified, 2015, and the Netflix comedy series Grace and Frankie, 2016, and subsequently starred in the Netflix sitcom The Ranch, 2016 to 2020. He went on to headline the comedy drama film The Hero, 2017, and star opposite Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper in Cooper's 2018 adaptation of A Star Is Born, for which he received critical acclaim and a nomination for the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor. His role in the Paramount Plus Western miniseries 1883, 2021 to 2022, earned him further praise and a SAG Award. Early life. Elliott's high school yearbook photo. Samuel Pack Elliott was born August 9, 1944, at the Sutter Memorial Hospital in Sacramento, California. The son of Glenn Mamie, née Sparks, a Texas state diving champion in high school and later a physical training instructor and high school teacher, and Henry Nelson Elliott, who worked as a predator control specialist for the Department of the Interior. 3. His parents were originally from El Paso, Texas, and Elliott has an ancestor who served as a surgeon at the Battle of San Jacinto. 5. 6. 7. He moved from California to Portland, Oregon, with his family when he was 13 years old. 8. 9. Elliott spent his teenage years living in Northeast Portland. 8. And graduated from David Douglas High School in 1962. 9. After graduating from high school, Elliott attended college at the University of Oregon as an English and psychology major. 10. For 2 terms before dropping out. 3. He returned to Portland and attended Clark College in nearby Vancouver, Washington, where he completed a 2-year program and was cast as Big Jewel in a stage production of Guys and Dolls. 8. The Vancouver Columbian newspaper suggested that Elliott should be a professional actor. After his graduation from Clark in 1965, Elliott re-enrolled at the University of Oregon and pledged at the Sigma Alpha Epsilon fraternity. 3. He dropped out again after his father died of a heart attack. 3. Elliott's 1965 college yearbook photo. In the late 1960s, Elliott relocated to Los Angeles to pursue a career in acting, which his father had dissuaded him from doing, instead urging him to obtain a college degree. 3. He gave me that proverbial line, "You've got a snowball's chance in hell of having a career in Hollywood," Elliott recalled. He was a realist, my dad. He was a hard worker. He had a work ethic that I fashioned mine after, and I thank him for that every day. 3. Elliott worked in construction while studying acting and served in the California Air National Guard's 146th Airlift Wing, the Hollywood Guard, at Van Nuys Airport before the unit moved to Channel Islands Air National Guard Station. 11. Career. Early work. Elliott with Juliet Mills in Once an Eagle, 1976. Elliott in his breakthrough role in Lifeguard, 1976. Elliott began his career as a character actor. His appearance, voice, and bearing were well suited to westerns. In 1969, he earned his first television credit as Dan Kenyon in Judd for the Defense in the episode The Crystal Maze. That same year he appeared in the show Lancer in the episode Death Bait, playing Renslow. 12. He went on to appear in 2 additional episodes of the series between 1970 and 1971. 12. One of his early film roles was as a card player who watches as the Sundance Kid, Robert Redford, demonstrates his shooting ability in the opening scene of Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, 1969. 13. In the 1970 to 1971 television season, Elliott starred as Doug Robert for several episodes in the hit series Mission Impossible. 13. Beginning in 1972, Elliott appeared as the Cowboy Walker in a series of Falstaff beer commercials. 14. 15. 16. In 1975, Elliott was cast in a lead role as Charles Wood in the television film I Will Fight No More Forever, a dramatization of Chief Joseph's resistance to the U.S. government's forcible removal of his Nez Perce Indian tribe to a reservation in Idaho. 17. From 1976 to 1977, he played the lead character Sam Damon in the miniseries Once an Eagle, an adaptation of the Anton Meyer novel of the same name, opposite Amy Irving, Kim Hunter, C.L.U. Gallagher, and Melanie Griffith. 18. He also had a starring role as Rick Carlson in the summer sleeper hit Lifeguard, 1976, which marked his feature film breakthrough. 19. He portrayed a lifeguard in Southern California who re-evaluates his life choices after being invited to a reunion. 20. Variety deemed the film unsatisfying, adding, Elliott, who has some beefcake value, projects a character who is mostly a passive reactor rather than a person in sure command of his fate. 20. Recognition as a character actor. Elliott in Aspen, 1977. Elliott played Tom Keating in the miniseries Aspen in 1977. He later played an abusive wife killer in the miniseries Murder in Texas, 1981, opposite Farrah Fawcett and his future wife Catherine Ross 21 and starred with Cheryl Ladd in A Death in California, 1985. 22. In 1979, he co-starred with Tom Selleck in the popular miniseries adaptation of Louis L'Amour's The Sackets. Elliott and Selleck were a team again in 1982 in The Shadow Riders, another Louis L'Amour adaptation. 23. Elliott had a supporting role in Mask, 1985, opposite Cher. He played a hard-nosed, rough around the edges but ultimately sympathetic father figure in the Christmas film Prancer, 1989. He has made guest appearances on shows including Felony Squad, Gunsmoke, Lancer, and Hawaii Five-0, and has been featured in many TV movies, including Buffalo Girls, 1995, in which he played Wild Bill Hickok. In 1986, he starred in the TV movie Gone to Texas, based on a biography of Sam Houston. The role allowed him to play Houston as both fighter and a man who grew into a skillful political leader. The film depicted his disgrace as governor of Tennessee, his return to his Cherokee Nation friends, and his pivotal role in the liberation of Texas from Mexico in 1836. Elliott appeared with Patrick Swayze in Roadhouse, 1989, as Wade Garrett, a bouncer, mentor, and friend of Swayze's character. In 1991, Elliott and his wife Catherine Ross starred in the adaptation of the Louis L'Amour novel Konigur, 1991. 24. He portrayed Brigadier General John Buford in the 1993 historical drama Gettysburg, and the same year played Virgil Earp in the western Tombstone, 1993. 25. Elliott played The Stranger, a character narrating the story of the Big Lebowski, 1998. 25 He co-starred in We Were Soldiers, 2002, an adaptation of We Were Soldiers Once and Young, in which he portrayed Command Sergeant Major Basil L. Plumley. He played General Thaddeus Ross in the 2003 action film Hulk. Later career. In 2005, he appeared in Thank You for Smoking as a former Marlboro Man advertisement cowboy who has developed lung cancer. In 2006 he provided the voice for the character Ben the Cow in the animated film Barnyard. In 2007, Elliott joined the comic book adaptation Ghost Rider. He played the character Carter Slade. The same year, Elliott appeared in The Golden Compass as the character Lee Scoresby. The film is based on Northern Lights in Philip Pullman's trilogy His Dark Materials. Also appearing in the film are Nicole Kidman, Christopher Lee, and Daniel Craig. In 2009, Elliott had a small role in Up in the Air in which he portrayed the chief pilot of American Airlines. He appeared 3 times on Parks and Recreation as Ron Dunn, the Eagleton equivalent of Ron Swanson. Dunn is a hippie, compared to Swanson's staunch survivalist and libertarian personality. He then provided the voice of Buster, aka Chapadogra, in the animated film Marmaduke, 2010. He had a supporting role in the thriller film The Company You Keep and played a college football coach in 2014's drama film Draft Day. Elliott and John Hamm at the 2017 Sundance Film Festival. In 2015, Elliott appeared opposite Lily Tomlin as a former love interest of a grandmother, Tomlin, attempting to help her pregnant granddaughter in Paul Weitz's comedy Grandma. 26 In the same year he appeared in the romance I'll See You in My Dreams, and had a role in the independent film Digging for Fire. 27 In 2015, he won the Critics' Choice Television Award for Best Guest Performer in a Drama for his role in the FX Network's show Justified. 27. Career resurgence and critical acclaim. In 2015, Elliott began appearing as a series regular in the Netflix series The Ranch, opposite Ashton Kutcher and Danny Masterson. 28 He also had a recurring role as Phil Milstein in the 2nd season of Grace and Frankie. In film, he supplied the voice of Butch in the animated film The Good Dinosaur, 2015. 29. In 2017, Elliott starred in The Hero, as Lee Hayden, an aging Western icon with a golden voice, whose best performances are decades behind him. 30 His work in the film received much critical acclaim, with Joey Magidson, writing for Awards Circuit, proclaiming that Elliott is perfect here. The Hero encapsulates everything you love about him into one package. 31. Later that year, Elliott starred in The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then the Bigfoot. 32. The following year, Elliott co-starred in A Star Is Born, 2018, in which he plays Bobby Maine, the elder half-brother of Bradley Cooper's lead character. 33 Elliott received critical acclaim for his performance, winning the National Board of Review Award for Best Supporting Actor. 34 He was also nominated for the Screen Actors Guild Award for Outstanding Performance by a Male Actor in a Supporting Role, as well as the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor, his career first nomination. 35 Commenting on his Academy Award nomination, Elliott declared, "I think the thing off the top of my head might be, it's about fucking time." 36 From 2019 to 2025, he played Wild West, new mayor of Quahog, in 21 episodes of the animated series Family Guy. Wild West is a parody of Western film characters. In 2022, Elliott starred as Shay Brennan on the Paramount Plus miniseries 1883, a prequel to the Yellowstone series. The show's story involves Brennan as he leads a group of immigrants from Fort Worth, Texas into the untamed western areas of the plains, and its connection to the Dutton family and its migration to Montana. The show's first season was aired from late 2021 until February 2022. For his performance he won the Screen Actors Guild Award for Outstanding Performance by a Male Actor in a Miniseries or Television Movie. Other ventures. In 1998, Elliott was named the Grand Marshal of the Calgary Stampede Parade and rode in the procession before an estimated 300,000 spectators. 37. Voice work and political endorsements. Elliott has performed voice-over narration for various commercials. He has lent his voice to campaigns for Dodge, IBM, Kinney Drugs, Union Pacific, and most notably the American Beef Council, succeeding Robert Mitchum in the latter. Since late 2007, Elliott has done voiceovers for Coors Beer, bringing his deep, rich voice and Western appeal to the brand brewed in Colorado. In 2010, Ram Trucks hired Elliott to do the voiceover for their Ram heavy-duty truck commercial. He has been voicing their commercials since. Starting in 2008, he has voiced Smokey Bear, and shares the mascot's birth date, August 9, 1944. He also narrated the Pittsburgh Steelers and Green Bay Packers team introductions to Super Bowl 45, played at Cowboys Stadium in Arlington, Texas at the conclusion of the 2010 NFL season for NFL on Fox. On September 9, 2020, it was announced that Elliott would begin recurring on Family Guy as the new mayor of Quahog, the late Mayor Adam West's cousin, Wild Wild West. 38. Also in 2020, he voiced Joe Biden's Go From There campaign ad. 39. He did another ad for the Lincoln Project, in support of Kamala Harris's 2024 presidential campaign, where he said it's time to be a man and vote for a woman. Personal life. Elliott married actress Catherine Ross in 1984, becoming her fifth husband. 40. They have a daughter, Cleo 41, who is a musician in Malibu, California. 42. Ross and Elliott live on a seaside ranch in Malibu, which they purchased in the 1970s. 3. Elliott also maintains a property in the Willamette Valley in Oregon. 3. Following his mother's death in 2011 at the age of 96, he also took ownership of his childhood home in Northeast Portland. 3. Filmography and accolades. Main articles: Sam Elliott filmography and list of awards and nominations received by Sam Elliott. Elliott has received a number of awards and nominations for his numerous screen performances. These include a Screen Actors Guild Award, a National Board of Review Award, and nominations for an Academy Award, 2 Primetime Emmy Awards and 2 Golden Globe Awards. After gaining early recognition in Western films in the late 1960s and continuing into the 1970s and 1980s, Elliott received 2 Golden Globe Award nominations for Best Actor in a Miniseries or Television Film and Supporting Actor in a Series, Miniseries, or Television Film for his respective roles in the television film Koeniger, 1991, and miniseries Buffalo Girls, 1995, the latter of which also earned him a nomination for the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Miniseries or Special. His voiceover performance in Robot Chicken, 2012 to 2020, earned him a nomination for the Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Voiceover Performance. Elliott's guest role in Justified, 2015, earned him a Critics' Choice Television Award for Best Guest Performer in a Drama Series. As a member of the ensemble cast of Up in the Air, 2009, Elliott was nominated for the Critics' Choice Movie Award for Best Acting Ensemble. For starring opposite Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper in Cooper's 2018 adaptation of A Star Is Born, Elliott won the National Board of Review Award and received nominations for the IACTA International, Academy Award, Critics' Choice and SAG Award for Best Supporting Actor, as well as another nomination for the SAG Award for Outstanding Cast. His role in the Paramount Plus miniseries 1883, 2021 to 2022, won him the SAG Award for Outstanding Actor in a Miniseries or Movie. Ghost Rider is a 2007 American superhero film written and directed by Mark Steven Johnson. Based on the Marvel Comics character of the same name, it was produced by Columbia Pictures in association with Marvel Entertainment, Crystal Sky Pictures, and Relativity Media, and distributed by Sony Pictures Releasing. The film stars Nicolas Cage as the titular character, with Eva Mendes, Wes Bentley, Sam Elliott, Donald Logue, Matt Long, and Peter Fonda in supporting roles. The film follows Johnny Blaze, a motorcycle stuntman who sells his soul and becomes the Ghost Rider, a bounty hunter of evil demons. Ghost Rider was released on February 16, 2007, in the United States. The film was met with negative reviews from critics and grossed $228.7 million worldwide against a $110 million budget. Ghost Rider was released on DVD, Blu-ray, and UMD on June 12, 2007. A sequel, titled Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance, was released on February 17, 2012, with Cage reprising his role. Plot. This article's plot summary may be too long or excessively detailed. Please help improve it by removing unnecessary details and making it more concise. September 2025, learn how and when to remove this message. The demon Mephistopheles sends his bounty hunter, the Ghost Rider, to retrieve the contract of San Venganza for control of 1,000 dark souls. Seeing that the agreement would give Mephistopheles the power to bring hell on earth, the Rider refuses and escapes with it. In 1986, Mephistopheles reaches out to 17-year-old Johnny Blaze, offering to cure his father's cancer in exchange for Johnny's soul. The next morning, Johnny awakens to discover the cancer cured, but his father dies later from burns sustained in a stunt accident. Johnny accuses Mephistopheles of causing his father's death, but Mephistopheles considers his side of the contract fulfilled and promises to see Johnny again as Mephistopheles takes Johnny's soul. Instead of running away with his girlfriend, Roxanne Simpson as planned, Johnny just rode off. In the present, Johnny has become a famous motorcycle stuntman. He survives a near-fatal crash after leaping over a field of semi-trucks. Later he runs into his ex-girlfriend, Roxanne, now a news reporter, just before he lands a motorcycle stunt where he clears a football field over Black Hawk helicopters while their blade rotors were spinning. He convinces her to attend a dinner date. Meanwhile, Mephistopheles' son Blackheart comes to Earth and seeks aid from the hidden, 3 fallen angels bonded with the elements of air, earth, and water, to find the lost contract of San Venganza. Mephistopheles makes Johnny the new Ghost Rider and offers to return his soul if he defeats Blackheart. Johnny transforms into the Ghost Rider, his flesh burning off his skeleton, and kills the Earth Angel Gressel. He then uses the penance stare, a power that causes mortals to feel all the pain they have caused others, on a street thug, searing his soul. The next day, he meets a man called the Caretaker, who knows about the Ghost Rider's history. He assures Johnny that what happened was real and will happen again, especially at night, when he is near an evil soul. Johnny leaves to find Roxanne, who is reporting the previous night's events on the news. At home, Johnny tries to control his fire power. Roxanne, upset about being stood up, comes to visit before leaving town, and Johnny reveals himself as the devil's bounty hunter. Unconvinced, she walks away in disbelief. Johnny winds up in prison for murders Blackheart committed due to his license plate being discovered at a crime scene, in which Johnny kills several convicts and the air angel Abigor and escapes from the police. He returns to the Caretaker, who tells him of his predecessor Carter Slade, a Texas Ranger who hid the contract of San Venganza. At home, Johnny discovers that Blackheart has killed his friend Mac and taken Roxanne hostage, intending to kill her if Johnny does not deliver the contract. Johnny tries to use the penance stare on Blackheart, but it proves ineffective as Blackheart has no soul. Blackheart then orders Johnny to retrieve the contract and bring it to him in San Venganza. Johnny returns to the Caretaker, demanding the contract to save Roxanne. The Caretaker reveals that it is hidden inside a spade, telling Johnny that he is stronger than his predecessors because he sold his soul for love rather than greed, before giving it to him. The Caretaker then transforms with Blaze, revealing that he is actually Carter Slade. Slade then leads Johnny to San Venganza and gives him a lever-action shotgun before bidding him farewell and having finally shaken off the curse, fading into dust as he rides away. After killing the water angel Wallow, Johnny gives Blackheart the contract. He transforms into the Ghost Rider to subdue Blackheart, but is rendered powerless at sunrise. Using the contract to absorb the 1,000 souls, Blackheart, now calling himself Legion, attempts to finish Johnny off, but is distracted when Roxanne uses Johnny's shotgun to separate them. Johnny shoots Blackheart with the gun, holding it in the shadows to allow him to enhance it with his power. Keeping his own body in shadow, he transforms again and uses his penance stare to render Blackheart catatonic by burning all the corrupt souls within him. Mephistopheles appears and declares the contract is complete, offering to take back the curse of the Ghost Rider. Determined not to let anyone else make another deal, Johnny declines, declaring that he will use his power against the demon and against all harm that comes to the innocent. Infuriated, Mephistopheles vows to make Johnny pay and disappears with Blackheart's body. Roxanne tells Johnny that he has his second chance and kisses him. Johnny rides away on his motorcycle, preparing for his new life as the Ghost Rider. Cast: Nicolas Cage as Johnny Blaze / Ghost Rider. A motorcycle stuntman, who is tricked into making a deal with the demon lord Mephisto thinking that it will save his father from dying, and is subsequently bound to an ancient demon, transformed into a supernatural, fiery, skeletal, monstrous soul hunter, the Ghost Rider. As his work for Mephisto continues, he hunts down the demons which have escaped from hell, aka Hate or Hades. Matt Long as young Johnny Blaze. Eva Mendes as Roxanne Simpson, Johnny's childhood love interest, and current girlfriend who is a news reporter. Raquel Alessi as young Roxanne Simpson. Wes Bentley as Blackheart / Legion, a demon who is the son of Mephisto, and wants to use the contract of San Venganza in order to unleash hell on Earth. Sam Elliott as Carter Slade, a former Texas Ranger from the 19th century and the first Ghost Rider, or Phantom Rider, and an ally and mentor to Blaze. Donald Logue as Mac, a member of Johnny's team and his own impresario. Peter Fonda as Mephistopheles Mephisto, the demon lord with whom Blaze makes a contractual deal in order to save the latter's father from cancer. Deceivingly, Mephisto causes Blaze's father to die the next day in a motorcycling accident. Mephisto is in search for his illegitimate son, Blackheart, who seeks to overthrow him. The two race in search of the contract of San Venganza, a binding note of 1,000 evil souls. Additional cast members include Brett Cullen as Barton Blaze, Johnny Blaze's deceased father, and former motorcycle stuntman, David Roberts as Captain Jack Dolan, police captain, Lawrence Brules as Gressel, a fallen angel with earth-based powers, and one of Blackheart's minions, Daniel Fredrickson as Wallow, a fallen angel with water-based powers, and one of Blackheart's minions, Matthew Wilkinson as Abigor, a fallen angel with wind-based powers, and one of Blackheart's minions, Rebel Wilson as a goth girl in the alley whom Johnny saved from a mugger, Jessica Napier as a broken-spoke waitress, Ling Shuai Tang as a news reporter, Eddie Baru as motorcycle gang member, and Marty Fields as a surveillance guard. Production. Development. Victorian Railway's L-Class locomotive used in a key scene filmed at Newport Railway Workshops. Marvel began development for Ghost Rider as early as 1992 and were in discussions with potential producers to sell the rights to. In 1997, Gail Ann Hurd was listed as producer, with Jonathan Hensley attached to write the script. David S. Goyer developed a script, and in May 2000, Marvel announced an agreement with Crystal Sky Entertainment to film Ghost Rider with actor Jon Voight attached as a producer. 11 production was scheduled to start in early 2001 with a budget of $75 million and Johnny Depp expressing interest in the lead role. 12 The following August, Dimension Films joined Crystal Sky to co-finance the film, which would be directed by Stephen Norrington. 13 Producer Avi Arad approached Eric Bana on the possibility of playing Ghost Rider, but opted to cast him in Hulk instead. 14 In June 2001, actor and Ghost Rider fan Nicolas Cage entered talks to be cast into the lead role. 15 After having found out about Depp being a possibility for the role and contacted the director to express his own interest. 16